Dr. Kevin Martinez rubbed his tired eyes and looked at the clock on his laboratory wall. It was past midnight, but he could not sleep. The Piranha research project had been keeping him busy for weeks. He sat at his desk, watching hours of footage, showing the fish swimming in their tank. The small silverfish moved in perfect groups, their movements smooth and coordinated. The Pacific Research Institute was quiet at this hour. Most scientists had gone home to their families. Kevin preferred working late. The silence helped him think clearly about his research. He was studying how piranhas behaved when they found food. His time-lapse cameras had captured some interesting footage over the past few days. Strange blue light suddenly filled the laboratory. Kevin looked up from his computer screen, confused. The light was coming from nowhere and everywhere at once. It was not like any light he had ever seen before. The blue glow pulsed gently, like a heartbeat made of light. 3 figures appeared in the center of the room. They materialized slowly, like images forming on an old television. Kevin's chair fell backward as he jumped up. His heart pounded in his chest. The figures were clearly not human. The tallest figure stepped forward. It looked somewhat like a human, but was much taller and thinner. Its skin glowed with a soft golden light. It had large, kind eyes that seemed to hold ancient wisdom. When it spoke, its voice was musical and gentle. "Greetings, human of Earth. I am Ambassador Zephyr of the Celestial Coalition. Please do not be afraid. We come in peace." Kevin's mouth opened and closed, but no words came out. He stared at the 3 beings standing in his laboratory. This was impossible. This could not be happening. The second figure looked like a giant insect. It had multiple arms and large compound eyes that sparkled like diamonds. Its body was covered in a smooth, dark shell. Despite its strange appearance, it moved gracefully and seemed friendly. The third being was the most unusual. It looked like it was made of living crystal. Light passed through its transparent body, creating rainbow patterns on the laboratory walls. When it moved, it made soft musical sounds like wind chimes. "We understand this is surprising," Zephyr continued. "We have been watching your world for many years. We have come to make you an offer." Kevin finally found his voice. "You have been watching us? How? Why?" Zephyr smiled. "Your planet is special, Dr. Martinez. From our observations, Earth appears to be the most perfect world we have ever discovered. We have searched the galaxy for decades, looking for a paradise world. Earth is that paradise." The insect-like being stepped forward. "I am Commander Buzz of the Hive Worlds. We have studied your planet from our ships in space. Your blue waters, your green forests, your peaceful creatures. Everything lives in perfect harmony. We have never seen anything like it." Kevin shook his head in confusion. "Perfect harmony? I think you might be mistaken about Earth." The crystalline being made soft chiming sounds. Zephyr translated. "Shard says your modesty is touching. We have observed your world for 30 Earth years. Every species lives in balance. No violence, no conflict. Just beautiful cooperation. But that is not true," Kevin said. "Earth is full of violence. Animals eat each other every day. It is how nature works." The 3 aliens looked at each other with surprise. Zephyr's golden glow flickered slightly. "Perhaps you are thinking of some other world? We have recorded extensive footage of your planet. We have seen your gentle aquatic life swimming in perfect formations. We have watched your land animals grazing peacefully in vast herds. Everything is organized and civilized." Kevin realized these aliens had been watching Earth from space, but they had completely misunderstood what they were seeing. They had no idea about predators and prey. They thought Earth was some kind of peaceful garden. "We represent the Celestial Coalition," Zephyr explained. "We are an alliance of peaceful species from across the galaxy. We have been searching for the perfect world to serve as our diplomatic center. A place where all species can meet and learn from each other. Commander Buzz's compound eyes glittered with excitement. Your world is ideal. We want to invite humanity to join our coalition. You would be the guardians of the garden world. You would help us learn your secrets of perfect harmony. Kevin sat down heavily in his chair. These aliens thought Earth was a paradise. They had no idea about the constant struggle for survival that defined life on his planet. They had never seen a predator hunt prey. They had probably never witnessed death or violence of any kind. What are your worlds like? Kevin asked. Shard made musical sounds and Zephyr translated. Our worlds are perfectly organized. We have eliminated all conflict and competition. Every species has its place. There is no hunger, no fear, no death from violence. We achieved perfect peace long ago. But how do your species grow and adapt? Kevin asked. The three aliens looked confused. Grow and adapt? Zephyr repeated. Why would we need to change? We have achieved perfection. Kevin began to understand. These aliens came from sterile, controlled worlds where evolution had stopped. They had eliminated all the forces that drove life to become stronger, smarter, and more resilient. They had created perfect prisons for their species. We have come to Earth because we want to learn, Commander Buzz explained. We want to understand how you created such a beautiful balance without our advanced technology. How do you maintain harmony among so many different species? Kevin looked at his computer screen, where the piranhas were still swimming in their tank. These gentle-looking fish were some of the most efficient predators on Earth. In a few hours, he would feed them and record their behavior. The aliens would be shocked if they saw what these gentle aquatic creatures were really capable of. Would you like to see some of our aquatic life? Kevin asked carefully. All three aliens practically vibrated with excitement. Zephyr's golden glow became brighter. Yes, we are most interested in your water creatures. They appear to be the most harmonious of all your species. Kevin made a decision that would change everything. I can show you some footage tomorrow, but I think you might want to prepare yourself. Earth might not be exactly what you think it is. The aliens agreed to return the next day. As they prepared to leave, Zephyr touched Kevin's shoulder gently. Thank you, Dr. Martinez. Tomorrow will be a historic day. We will finally understand the secrets of the garden world. After they disappeared in the blue light, Kevin sat alone in his laboratory. He looked at the peaceful piranhas swimming in their tank. Tomorrow, these aliens would learn the truth about Earth. He wondered if they would still think it was paradise after they saw what these beautiful fish could do. Kevin spent the rest of the night preparing his presentation. He had a feeling that tomorrow would indeed be a historic day, but not in the way the aliens expected. The next morning, Kevin found himself in a room he had never seen before. The government had worked quickly during the night. They had created a special meeting room in a secure building downtown. The walls were white and clean, with no windows. Large screens covered one wall, and comfortable chairs were arranged in a circle. Secretary of State Helen Brooks stood near the door, checking her watch. She was a serious woman with gray hair and sharp eyes. She had arrived at Kevin's laboratory at dawn with a team of officials. Kevin had barely had time to grab his research files and equipment. Dr. Martinez, I want you to understand how important this is, Helen said. These aliens represent the first contact between humanity and other intelligent species. Everything you say today could affect the future of our planet. General Frank Stone stood in the corner, his arms crossed. He was a tall man with short, gray hair and many medals on his uniform. He did not look happy about the situation. I still think we should have weapons ready, he grumbled. We know nothing about these creatures. They seem peaceful, Kevin said. They really believe Earth is some kind of paradise. They want to help us, not hurt us. Captain Lisa Wells was setting up recording equipment. She was young and energetic, with short brown hair and bright eyes. "This is incredible," she said. "I am recording everything for the Space Communications Division. History is being made today." Kevin checked his laptop one more time. He had prepared a simple presentation about Earth's marine life. A piranha footage was ready to play. He had chosen it because it showed a clear example of how life really worked on Earth. The aliens needed to understand that their peaceful paradise did not exist. The blue light filled the room again. The three aliens appeared in the center, just as they had the night before. Ambassador Zephyr looked around with interest. Commander Buzz's compound eyes reflected the bright lights. Shard's crystalline body cast rainbow patterns on the walls. "Welcome back," Helen said formally. "I am Secretary Brooks. I represent the government of the United States. We are honored by your visit." Zephyr bowed gracefully. "The honor is ours. We have waited so long to meet the guardians of the garden world. Today, we will finally understand your secrets." General Stone stepped forward. "What exactly do you want from us?" "We want to learn," Commander Buzz explained. "Our coalition has 14 member species. We all live in perfect peace, but we have much to learn about natural harmony. Earth is the only world we have found where so many species live together without our advanced management systems." Shard made musical sounds. Zephyr translated. "Shard says that our home worlds have become too organized. We have eliminated all unpredictability. Some of our scientists believe we may have lost something important in the process." Kevin found this interesting. Maybe these aliens were not as satisfied with their perfect worlds as they claimed. "What do you think you have lost?" "We are not sure," Zephyr admitted. "Our populations have been declining slowly for generations. Our young ones seem less curious, less energetic than in the past. We hope that studying Earth will help us understand what we are missing." Helen nodded. "Dr. Martinez is one of our leading marine biologists. He has prepared a presentation about life in our oceans." All three aliens turned to Kevin with obvious excitement. Their different forms of communication, Zephyr's musical voice, Buzz's clicking sounds, and Shard's chimes, created a strange harmony in the room. "I should warn you," Kevin said carefully, "that life on Earth might be different from what you expect. We have not eliminated conflict the way you have on your worlds." "Of course not," Zephyr said. "You have achieved natural harmony, which is far more impressive than our artificial systems. We are eager to learn how you did it." Kevin connected his laptop to the large screen. "I am going to show you some footage of aquatic life from our Amazon River. These are called piranhas. From space, you probably saw them as small silver fish swimming in groups." The aliens moved closer to the screen. Kevin had never seen beings so excited about a simple video presentation. They were practically trembling with anticipation. "Yes," Commander Buzz clicked enthusiastically. "We have observed these creatures extensively. They are perfect examples of your natural cooperation. They swim in beautiful formations, always moving together as one. Their organization is flawless." Zephyr added, "They must represent the highest form of peaceful coexistence." Kevin started the video. The screen showed a clear river with sunlight streaming through the water. A school of piranhas swam peacefully in the current. They were beautiful fish with silver scales that caught the light. They moved together like a single organism, turning and flowing with perfect coordination. "Magnificent," Shard chimed through. Zephyr's translation. "Look at their synchronization. They have achieved perfect unity." The aliens watched with wonder. Kevin could see that they were recording everything with small devices that projected holographic images. This footage would be sent to their home worlds as proof of Earth's peaceful nature. These fish represent everything we hope to achieve, Zephyr said. Perfect cooperation without any need for central control. How do they communicate so effectively? Kevin paused the video. They do communicate, but not in the way you think. They are not cooperating the way you imagine. What do you mean? Commander Buzz asked. They swim together for protection, Kevin explained. There are predators in the river that hunt them. By staying in a group, each individual fish has a better chance of survival. The aliens looked confused. Predators? Zephyr repeated the word carefully, as if he had never heard it before. Animals that hunt and eat other animals, Kevin said. It is how most life on Earth survives. Some species eat plants, others eat meat, and some eat both. General Stone leaned forward with interest. Captain Wells adjusted her recording equipment. Secretary Brooks watched the aliens carefully, trying to read their reactions. But that would mean ... Commander Buzz's voice trailed off. That would mean there is conflict in your paradise, Zephyr finished. That cannot be correct. We have observed your world for decades. We have never seen violence. Kevin realized they had been watching from too far away. They had seen the patterns of life, but not the details. They had seen herds of animals, but not the predators that followed them. They had seen schools of fish, but not the bigger fish that ate them. I think you need to see this, Kevin said. He clicked to the next part of his presentation. This is time-lapse footage. It shows several hours of activity compressed into a few minutes. I recorded this last week in my laboratory. The aliens settled back in their chairs, ready to learn about Earth's aquatic harmony. Kevin's finger hovered over the play button. Once he pressed it, everything would change. The aliens would learn that their garden world was actually a battlefield, where every creature fought for survival. Are you ready? Kevin asked. We have been ready for 30 years, Zephyr replied. Show us the secrets of your perfect world. Kevin pressed play. The peaceful piranhas continued swimming on the screen, but Kevin knew what was coming next. In a few seconds, the aliens would see the truth about life on Earth. They would learn that paradise was not peaceful at all. The feeding was about to begin. The screen showed the peaceful piranhas swimming in their clear tank. Kevin had spent hours filming them in their calm state. The fish moved like liquid silver, their scales catching the laboratory lights. They swam in perfect formation, each fish maintaining its place in the group. Beautiful, Zephyr whispered. His golden skin glowed brighter with excitement. They are even more graceful than we observed from space. Commander Buzz's compound eyes tracked every movement of the fish. The precision is remarkable. Each individual knows exactly where to be. There is no chaos, no confusion. Shard's crystalline body chimed softly. The musical sounds filled the quiet room. Zephyr translated without looking away from the screen. Shard says this is the most perfect example of natural cooperation we have ever seen. Our scientists will study this footage for years. Kevin felt a knot forming in his stomach. These aliens were about to witness something that would shatter their understanding of Earth. They had no concept of predation or violence. Their worlds had been sanitized of all conflict for so long that they had forgotten what nature really looked like. Dr. Martinez, Secretary Brooks said quietly, perhaps you should explain what happens next. Kevin shook his head. I think they need to see it. Words would not be enough. On the screen, the piranhas continued their peaceful dance. The time-lapse had not yet begun. Kevin had timed it perfectly. The aliens would first see the calm behavior, then witness the dramatic change that occurred when food was introduced. What happens next? Zephyr asked. Do they perform some kind of ritual? Do they communicate with other species? In a way, Kevin said carefully. They are about to interact with their environment in a very natural way. General Stone moved closer to the screen. He had seen this footage before, when Kevin had shown it to the military briefing team that morning. The general knew what was coming. His hand rested on his sidearm, not because he expected trouble from the aliens, but because he was nervous about their reaction. Captain Wells checked her recording equipment again. She wanted to capture every moment of this historic meeting. The Space Communications Division had ordered her to document everything. This footage would be studied by scientists and diplomats for generations. The peaceful scene on the screen began to change. Kevin had introduced a piece of raw meat into the tank. The meat was just outside the camera's view, but its effect on the piranhas was immediate and dramatic. The first sign was subtle. A few fish at the edge of the school began to move differently. Their movements became more urgent, more focused. They were detecting the scent of food in the water. They sensed something, Commander Buzz observed. Their formation is changing. Within seconds, the entire school was moving toward the source of the scent. The peaceful, organized swimming gave way to something more intense. The fish began to move faster, their movements becoming less coordinated. They are excited about something, Zephyr said. Perhaps they have found some interesting plant matter to examine. Kevin said nothing. He watched the aliens' faces as the situation on screen escalated. The piranhas were gathering around the meat, their behavior becoming more aggressive by the second. Then the feeding began. The peaceful silver fish transformed into something completely different. Their movements became frantic and violent. They attacked the meat with incredible ferocity, their razor-sharp teeth tearing through flesh and bone. The water around them began to turn red with blood. The aliens' reactions were immediate and extreme. Commander. Buzz fell backward off his chair, his multiple arms flailing. His compound eyes reflected the red water on the screen, creating a kaleidoscope of horror. He made high-pitched clicking sounds that filled the room. Zephyr's golden glow flickered and dimmed. His musical voice became a series of discordant notes. What is happening? What are they doing? Shard's crystalline body began to crack. Stress fractures appeared throughout his transparent form, spreading like a spider web. His musical chimes became sharp and discordant, like breaking glass. On the screen, the piranhas continued their feeding frenzy. The time-lapse compressed. Hours of activity into minutes. The fish worked together, but not in the way the aliens had imagined. They were cooperating to strip every piece of meat from the bone with ruthless efficiency. Stop it, Zephyr pleaded. Please stop the recording. Kevin paused the video. The screen froze on an image of the piranhas in the middle of their feeding. The clear water had become cloudy with blood. Pieces of torn flesh floated in the current. The room was silent except for Commander Buzz's distressed clicking and Shard's sharp chimes. General Stone stood ready to intervene if necessary. Secretary Brooks watched the aliens with concern. I do not understand, Zephyr said, his voice shaking. What happened to them? Are they sick? Has some disease affected their minds? Kevin leaned forward in his chair. They are not sick. This is normal behavior. This is how they feed. Feed? Commander Buzz had climbed back into his chair, but he was still trembling. They are supposed to eat plants. All civilized species eat plants. They are carnivores, Kevin explained. They eat meat. That is how they survive. Shard's cracks deepened. More fractures appeared in his crystalline structure. Zephyr translated his chimes with difficulty. Shard says this cannot be natural. This must be some kind of malfunction. It is completely natural, Kevin said. Piranhas are predators. They have evolved to hunt and eat other animals. Their teeth are designed for cutting flesh. Their behavior is perfectly normal for their species. The aliens stared at the frozen image on the screen. The peaceful fish they had admired moments before were now revealed as efficient killing machines. Their beautiful formations were not expressions of harmony, but strategies for successful hunting. But we observed them for years, Zephyr protested. We never saw this behavior. You were watching from space, General Stone pointed out. You could not see the details of their daily life. Kevin nodded. From a distance, you saw the patterns, but not the purpose. You saw schools of fish, but not what they were doing. You saw the organization, but not the reason for it. Secretary Brooks spoke carefully. Dr. Martinez, perhaps you should explain how common this type of behavior is on Earth. Kevin looked at the aliens' distressed faces. They were struggling to process what they had seen. Their entire understanding of Earth had been built on a false foundation. This is not unusual, Kevin said gently. Most life on Earth survives by eating other life. Plants eat nutrients from soil and dead matter. Herbivores eat plants. Carnivores eat herbivores. It is called the food chain. Food chain? Zephyr repeated the words, as if they were foreign concepts. Everything is connected. Kevin explained. Life feeds on life. Death creates life. It is the fundamental principle of how nature works on Earth. Commander Buzz's clicking became more frantic. But that means your paradise is built on violence. Your harmony is actually conflict. Not conflict, Kevin corrected. Balance. The piranhas control the population of other fish. Other predators control the piranhas. Every species has its place in the system. Shard's chimes became a mournful sound. Zephyr translated with obvious difficulty. Shard says our understanding of Earth was completely wrong. We thought we had found paradise, but we have found something else entirely. Kevin looked at the three aliens. They were clearly shocked and disturbed by what they had learned. But he knew this was only the beginning. The piranhas were just one small example of how life worked on Earth. Would you like to see more? Kevin asked. The aliens looked at each other with expressions of fear and fascination. They had come to Earth expecting to find the secrets of perfect harmony. Instead, they had discovered a world where survival depended on the ability to kill or avoid being killed. We need to understand, Zephyr said finally. If we are going to help our species, we need to learn the truth about your world. Kevin nodded and prepared to show them more footage. The piranhas were just the beginning of their education about life on Earth. General Stone stepped forward, his military bearing evident in every movement. He had been quiet during the piranha demonstration, but now he saw an opportunity to educate these aliens about the true nature of Earth. Dr. Martinez, the general, sighed. I think our guests need to understand that this behavior is not limited to fish. Perhaps you could show them some of our terrestrial predators. Kevin nodded and opened another file on his laptop. Would you like to see how land animals survive on Earth? The three aliens looked at each other uncertainly. Zephyr's golden glow had dimmed considerably since the piranha feeding. Commander Buzz was still clicking nervously, and Shard's crystalline body remained cracked with stress fractures. We came here to learn, Zephyr said finally. We must understand your world if we hope to help our own species. Kevin selected a video file labeled African Savanna, Predator Behavior. The screen showed a vast grassland under a bright blue sky. Herds of zebras grazed peacefully in the distance. The scene looked exactly like the kind of harmony the aliens had expected to find on Earth. This is more like what we observed, Commander Buzz said, his clicking becoming less frantic. Peaceful herds moving together across beautiful landscapes. These are zebras, Kevin explained. They are herbivores, which means they eat plants. They live in herds for protection. Protection from what? Shard chimed. Zephyr translated the question, though his musical voice was still shaky. From predators, Kevin said. Animals that hunt them for food. The camera angle changed, showing a group of lions hidden in the tall grass. They were perfectly still, their golden bodies blending with the dried vegetation. Only their eyes moved as they watched. The zebra herd. What are those creatures? Zephyr asked. Lions, Kevin replied. They are carnivores. They hunt zebras and other herbivores. The aliens watched in fascination as the lions began to move. They spread out in a coordinated pattern, approaching the zebra herd from different directions. Their movements were slow and deliberate, each step calculated to avoid detection. They are working together, Commander Buzz observed. Is this the cooperation you mentioned? Yes, but not the kind you expected, Kevin said. They are cooperating to kill. The hunt began. The lions moved with deadly precision, using teamwork to isolate a young zebra from the herd. The zebras tried to flee, but the lions had planned their attack perfectly. Within minutes, they had brought down their prey. The aliens' reactions were even more intense than before. Commander Buzz made high-pitched distress calls. Zephyr's golden skin flickered between dim and bright, as if he could not control his emotional response. Shard's cracks spread further, and several small pieces of his crystalline body fell to the floor. This is impossible, Zephyr whispered. How can such beautiful creatures commit such violence? Kevin paused the video. They are not committing violence. They are surviving. The lions must eat meat to live. The zebras provide that meat. It is the natural order. Secretary Brooks leaned forward. Dr. Martinez, perhaps you should explain how humans fit into this system. Kevin opened another file. This might be the most important part for you to understand. Humans are also part of Earth's food chain. The screen showed historical footage of human hunters tracking deer through a forest. The humans moved quietly, using tools and intelligence to overcome their prey's natural advantages. They worked together, communicating with hand signals and coordinated movements. Your species hunts? Commander Buzz asked in disbelief. We evolved as hunters, Kevin explained. For hundreds of thousands of years, humans survived by hunting animals and gathering plants. We are omnivores, which means we eat both meat and plants. The aliens stared at the footage in horror. They were seeing humans engaged in the same predatory behavior they had just witnessed in piranhas and lions. But you are intelligent, Zephyr protested. Surely you have evolved beyond such primitive behavior. Kevin switched to modern footage of a cattle ranch. We still eat meat, but now we raise animals specifically for food. We call it agriculture. The screen showed thousands of cattle in enclosed fields. The aliens watched as workers moved among the animals, providing food and medical care. To them, it looked like a more civilized version of animal husbandry. This is better, Shard chimed hopefully. You care for these creatures. We care for them until we kill them for food, Kevin said gently. These animals exist only to be eaten. We raise them, feed them, and then slaughter them for meat. Captain Wells zoomed in on the aliens' faces with their recording equipment. Their expressions of horror were unlike anything she had ever seen. These beings were confronting concepts that simply did not exist in their sanitized worlds. How many animals do you kill? Commander Buzz asked. Kevin pulled up statistics on his laptop. Billions every year. In the United States alone, we slaughter about 9 billion chickens annually. Worldwide, the numbers are much higher. Zephyr's golden glow became so dim he was barely visible. Your entire civilization is built on death. Not just death, Kevin corrected. Death and life. The animals we eat become part of us. Their death allows us to live. It is the same principle that governs all life on Earth. General Stone stepped forward again. Show them the decomposition footage. Kevin opened a time-lapse video showing a dead deer in a forest. Over the course of weeks, the body was consumed by bacteria, insects, and scavengers. The nutrients from the deer's body enriched the soil, which fed the plants, which fed other animals. Nothing is wasted. Kevin explained. Death feeds life. Life leads to death. It is an endless cycle that has continued for billions of years. The aliens watched in stunned silence as the deer's body disappeared, leaving only bones that would eventually become part of the soil. They were seeing the fundamental truth of Earth's ecosystem. Life could only exist through the consumption of other life. On our worlds, Zephyr said quietly, we eliminated this cycle. We created artificial nutrients. We ended the need for any creature to die. What happened to your ecosystems? Kevin asked. They became static, Commander Buzz admitted. No change, no growth, no evolution. Our species have remained the same for millions of years. Kevin opened one more file. This is the most important thing I can show you. This is why Earth's system works. The screen showed a comparison of two environments. One was a sterile, controlled habitat where every element was managed and maintained. The other was a natural forest where predators and prey lived in constant interaction. The controlled environment is stable, Kevin explained, but it cannot adapt to change. When something unexpected happens, the entire system can collapse. The natural environment is chaotic and violent, but it is also resilient. It can survive almost anything because it is constantly changing and adapting. The aliens began to understand. Their perfect worlds were not actually perfect. They were fragile systems that could not survive without constant management. Earth's violent, chaotic system was actually stronger because it had learned to adapt to any challenge. Your species became strong because of this violence? Shard asked through Zephyr's translation. We became strong because we learned to survive in a world where survival was never guaranteed, Kevin said. Every challenge made us smarter, stronger, more adaptable. We learned to cooperate not because we wanted to, but because we had to. Secretary Brooks spoke up. Dr. Martinez, can you explain how this system created human intelligence and technology? Kevin nodded. The same drive that made us effective hunters also pushed us to solve problems, create tools, and explore new territories. We developed language to coordinate hunts. We created weapons to overcome stronger prey. We learned to work together because isolated individuals could not survive. The aliens were beginning to see the connection between Earth's violence and humanity's achievements. The same forces that had created the piranha feeding frenzy had also created human civilization. We thought we had found paradise, Zephyr said. Instead, we found something much more complex. You found life, Kevin replied. Real life, with all its beauty and terror. Paradise is static. Life is dynamic. The aliens sat in silence, processing everything they had learned. Their understanding of Earth had been completely transformed. They had come looking for the secrets of perfect harmony and had discovered something far more valuable, the secret of survival itself. The room fell silent as the aliens absorbed everything they had learned. Kevin watched their faces, trying to understand their emotions. Zephyr's golden glow had stabilized at a dim level. Commander Buzz had stopped his frantic clicking. Shards. Crystalline bodies still showed stress fractures, but no new cracks had appeared. Secretary Brooks was the first to speak. I think our guests need time to process this information. This must be very different from what they expected. Zephyr looked up slowly. Dr. Martinez, I must ask you something that troubles me deeply. If your world is built on such violence, how do you find peace? How do you sleep at night knowing that millions of creatures are dying? Kevin had expected this question. We find peace because we understand that this violence serves a purpose. Death is not the enemy of life. It is the partner of life. Every death makes room for new life. Every challenge makes us stronger. But how do you live with the knowledge that you are predators? Commander Buzz asked. How do you interact with Other humans knowing that you all have the capacity for violence? We learned to channel that capacity, Kevin explained. The same aggression that helped us hunt now helps us compete in sports, solve difficult problems, and explore dangerous places. We took our predatory instincts and used them for other purposes. General Stone stepped forward. Dr. Martinez, perhaps you should show them some of our achievements. They need to understand what this system has created. Kevin opened a new presentation file. The screen showed images of human accomplishments. Cities reaching toward the sky, spacecraft exploring. Other worlds, medical advances that saved lives, art that captured beauty and emotion. All of this came from the same drive that made us successful predators, Kevin said. We compete with each other, but we also cooperate. We fight challenges instead of fighting each other. We turned our survival instincts into creative forces. The aliens studied the images with growing fascination. They were seeing technology and art that surpassed anything on their own worlds. These achievements had grown from the same violent soil that had horrified them earlier. Your species learned to control its violent nature? Zephyr asked. We learned to direct it, Kevin corrected. We still have the capacity for violence, but we choose how to use it. We can be fierce competitors in business, or gentle caregivers. With our children, we can be ruthless soldiers in war, or compassionate healers in hospitals. The same intensity serves different purposes. Captain Wells looked up from her recording equipment. Dr. Martinez, maybe you should explain how this applies to space exploration. Kevin nodded and showed images of astronauts working in dangerous conditions. We explore space because we are not afraid of risk. We push boundaries because our ancestors had to push boundaries to survive. The same courage that helped early humans face predators now helps us face the unknown. The aliens watched footage of humans working in space, conducting experiments in zero gravity, building structures on other worlds. They were seeing the positive results of humanity's violent evolution. We have been searching for species that could help us rediscover what we lost, Zephyr said slowly. We thought we needed to find perfect peace, but perhaps we needed to find controlled conflict. Shard made gentle chiming sounds. Zephyr translated with surprise in his voice. Shard says that watching your species gives him feelings he has not experienced in centuries. He feels excited about the future. What happened to your species when you eliminated conflict? Kevin asked. Commander Buzz's compound eyes reflected the images on the screen. We became safe, but we also became stagnant. Our young ones show no curiosity about the unknown. They are content to live exactly as their parents lived. We have not had a new idea in 1,000 years. You eliminated the pressure that drives evolution, Kevin explained. Without challenges, there is no reason to grow or change. Your species became comfortable, but comfort is the enemy of progress. General. Stone walked to the window. Dr. Martinez, tell them about human history. Tell them how we overcame our own violent tendencies. Kevin opened files showing human conflicts throughout history, followed by images of cooperation and peace treaties. We fought terrible wars, but we learned from each one. We created laws to control violence. We built institutions to resolve conflicts peacefully. We did not eliminate our capacity for aggression. We learned to manage it. You turned your weakness into strength, Zephyr observed. We turned our strength into wisdom, Kevin replied. The same traits that made us dangerous also made us capable of great compassion. We understand suffering because we have experienced it. We value peace because we know the cost of war. Secretary Brooks spoke carefully. What does this mean for your coalition? Will you still invite humanity to join? The three aliens looked at each other. They communicated in their different languages, musical tones, clicking sounds, and crystal chimes. Kevin could not understand their words, but he could sense the intensity of their discussion. Finally, Zephyr turned back to the humans. We came here expecting to invite you to join our peaceful alliance as guardians of a paradise world. But we have learned that Earth is not paradise. It is something much more valuable. What is that? Kevin asked. It is a school, Commander. Buzz said, a place where life learns to be strong. We want to change our invitation. Shard's chimes became brighter and more musical. His stress fractures began to heal, the cracks sealing themselves as his excitement grew. Shard says we should ask humanity to teach us, Zephyr translated. Not to join our coalition as students, but to lead it as teachers. Kevin was surprised. You want us to teach you how to be more violent? We want you to teach us how to live. Zephyr corrected. How to face challenges, how to grow, how to change. We want to learn the secret of turning struggle into strength. General Stone turned from the window. That would be a very different kind of alliance. It would be a better kind, Commander Buzz said. We have spent so long trying to eliminate all problems that we forgot how to solve them. You have spent your entire existence solving problems. You are experts at survival. Captain Wells stopped recording and looked up. What would this mean practically? How would such a partnership work? Zephyr's golden glow began to brighten for the first time since the piranha feeding. We could share our advanced technology with you. You could share your problem-solving abilities with us. Together, we could explore the galaxy and help other species find the balance between peace and progress. Kevin thought about the offer. Humanity had always dreamed of joining a galactic community. But these aliens were offering something different. Not membership in an existing alliance, but leadership in creating a new kind of civilization. We would have to be careful, Kevin said. The traits that make us strong can also make us dangerous. We would need safeguards, rules, oversight. That is exactly why we need you, Zephyr replied. You understand both the power and the responsibility that comes with this strength. Our species have forgotten that power must be balanced with wisdom. Secretary Brooks stood up. This is obviously a decision that will require extensive discussion among world leaders. But I think I can speak for humanity when I say we are interested in this partnership. The aliens prepared to leave, but the mood in the room was completely different from when they had arrived. They were no longer seeking the secrets of paradise. They were seeking the tools of survival and growth. Dr. Martinez, Zephyr said, as the blue light began to surround them. Thank you for showing us the truth about your world. We came here looking for perfect peace and found something much better. What is that? Kevin asked. We found hope, Shard, chimed through Zephyr's translation. For the first time in millions of years, we have hope that our species can grow again. As the aliens disappeared in the blue light, Kevin sat back in his chair. He looked at the screen, which still showed images of human achievements built on the foundation of struggle and conflict that Captain Wells packed up her recording equipment. Dr. Martinez, do you think this partnership will work? Kevin thought about the question carefully. I think it has a chance. They understand now that peace is not the absence of conflict. Peace is what we choose to do with our capacity for violence. General Stone nodded approvingly. That is a lesson worth teaching. Secretary. Brooks gathered her papers. Dr. Martinez, I think you may have just changed the course of human history. Kevin looked at the empty piranha tank in the corner of the room. The small silver fish were swimming peacefully again, waiting for their next feeding. They had no idea that their violent nature had just opened the door to humanity's future among the stars. Sometimes the most important lessons come from the most unexpected teachers, Kevin said. Those piranhas just taught an entire galaxy that survival is more valuable than safety. As the humans left the secure meeting room, Kevin realized that humanity was about to embark on its greatest adventure. It would not be joining a peaceful galactic paradise. They would be helping to create something new, a civilization that understood both the necessity of conflict and the wisdom of cooperation. The piranha feeding frenzy had become the first lesson in humanity's curriculum for the stars.